Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. Attempt number 2. We're trying to set this up so you guys can watch how we assemble our gear before the dive. However, hope the phone doesn't fall there. There might not be a whole lot of answering of questions because we are busy doing this thing. So anyway, hopefully you watch and enjoy. Maybe Woody, you can take turns, or Mehdi, or whoever. This is Mehdi, by the way. We're gonna be diving together. You've seen him on the show?
A little bit.
So yeah, just I guess watch and relax, you know?
First thing first, I think, checklist.
Checklist, for
Every
sure.
time. As we explained already on the video before, you know, even though I got hundreds of hours on the unit, I always start and check my checklist.
That's
Even
right.
if it's second nature, just in case I'm having a bad day, want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything.
And I always, on my gear,
Oh my God.
kiss every part of it, which I'm gonna show you in a sec. You should kiss it, love it, and I call my Sidewinder my sweetie. 'Cause she's gonna be my life, so I'm gonna give her a couple little pecks right now for you. That's part of my checklist. I love you, and I want you to take care of me, and I'll take care of you. I gave you fresh sore, you're all clean and dry. Thank you. That's part of my checklist. I added those things.
Try to
to
get
the
better
checklist.
angles so
Good
people can kind of see
karma,
what we're doing.
you should always do that.
Yes.
How about you do
That's
something
how
in
you
a
do, you usually do.
That's
What? I need some lube. I don't
that
understand.
is you usually
Oh my
do.
God.
What is that?
I'm saying you usually have the lube, but for some reason, and I don't have any.
That's
Alright, I got some lube. I can do. Well, I can do that myself. We put lube on the O-rings, no joking around. I like to do it every time, and keep some cracking and breaking. I inspect them, get out little molecules of soar that could be in them. And that's how we, because those O-rings are pretty much like also your life. Unless you like water.
Yep.
Soar.
And by the way, the plan today, thank you for the super chat. Who is that? Angel Molina? Angel, thank you. The plan today is to do a pretty big dive. We're doing only one. Yesterday we did 2 dives, but today's only one. It's gonna be a massive one. I'm actually gonna do the deepest penetration I've ever done in a cave. So, pretty excited about that.
Funny how you added in the cave.
What?
It's funny how you added it, in a cave. It's just your deepest cave penetration.
That's a fact. It is. Deepest penetration.
I'm glad you.
So, what was your deepest penetration point?
3,000.
3,000 feet. So, we did match that 2 days ago.
Yep.
Because we did a 3,000 feet penetration in Jackson Blue.
That's right.
Today, planning to do a little bit more than that. Probably
4,500.
4,500
Yeah.
to the end of the line.
What is that in
Point of the
meters, by the way? Somebody should Google.
Uh,
4,500 feet to meters. I would say 1.4 something.
1.3, 1.4K,
Yeah.
something like that.
So almost a mile on the water.
Yeah, 1.37.
1.37, yeah.
Nice.
So we're going 1.37 kilometers
Snapped in like a
into a cave today. Pretty big dive. We're excited.
going diving with Betty. You better be excited. It's like a world-class, one of the greatest cave divers in the world, so how could it not be?
I think.
So Ben, maybe you can come here and no, don't touch it, or else it will fall. But
You wanted to get.
well, no, like maybe you can help with the questions
Oh,
as,
yeah.
as they come up. Thanks, Angel. We'll be safe for sure. We're staging gas, by the way, in the cave, so we're taking bailout gas with us. But there's actually tanks that are staged halfway through the halfway point. So if something happens, we'll have enough gas to come out.
And we're gonna take some more with us.
And we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
take.
take an extra one just
Okay.
because we can.
And you're diving 85, so he's diving big
Yep.
tanks. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Hey everyone, this is Benjamin. Benjamin, just come here.
Yeah.
Come. Ben is
Everyone.
gonna Ben is gonna help us out, maybe read some of the questions if you have any, and ask us while we work on the rebreathers.
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna need to get in there to get my sword.
Yeah, go for it.
There you go.
I love you, baby.
Any questions, Ben?
No.
Nobody has
Where's
any
the questions at?
Yeah.
Man, that move is smooth.
Yes.
Are you gearing up for a dive? We are.
Great.
Deep penetration dive today.
People do ask, like, they want to see us, like, get ready for a dive.
So, there's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Have you heard about bleeding nose by the pressure of depth? If it's equalizing, maybe, or maybe if your nose gets, your nose bleeds.
I don't think so. Have you heard that, Woody?
What?
Nose bleeds due to pressure.
Yes. Membrane, it's usually the membranes in your nose and you're super
Speak this way so
sensitive.
they can hear you.
It's usually the membranes in your nose. So if you see people with nosebleeds, it's usually not very, like, it's not a big barotrauma injury. The membranes sometimes for people, especially newer divers, are super sensitive and they can bleed. You get a little bit of blood in your nose. It's usually not something of big concern. Hello.
Hey, Stacey.
So
Hey, say hi to the live stream over here. We're all assembling for
That's
the
why,
morning.
Stacy?
yeah, that's why.
Yeah, what was the,
So what cave are you diving today, guys?
what is it?
Hole in the wall.
Hole in the wall,
Oh.
yes. Hole in the wall, in the mill pond. You
Yep,
guys can
on the
Google
mill
it and you
pond.
can look at the map and stuff. We're going to the end of the line.
And for what is the depth? So in the cave, the cave goes up and down with depth. So it's more about distance and not necessarily depth.
Wow, Ben.
Let's see.
Very nice.
Yeah, we should have Ben answer all our questions. Like, that did such a good job.
Oh, you get Woody. You gotta keep an eye out for all the alien octopuses.
Oh my
You
God.
gotta keep them from abducting you.
No.
I want them to abduct me. What do I do when I want them to abduct me? That's what I want to be part of their world forever.
Well, is it abducted if you're not like going up? They like drag you down to the deep.
And also, is it abducted if you're part of them?
Like,
Yeah.
If you belong to them?
Is it just like going back home?
Or is it really just part of?
Yeah, if you're already part octopus.
Oh
I feel I am.
Why are you feeding this? Stop.
So I don't really consider that a punishment.
So how many kilometers distance? It was about 1.37 kilometers. Gus, is your full name Gus Stefano?
No.
Freshwater diving today.
Yep.
Yes. Very fresh. Cave.
Any more questions? Nothing coming up?
Come on, guys, ask some good questions.
Nobody's phased by the fact that I'm smashing my rebreather with a hammer.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you
Everybody
show
thinks
it.
that's
You know
not-
who's boss, right? You gotta, give it a little love tap to get the Zorb all nice and
Would
happy.
you sweet talk to who to these? I'm just smashing my with a hammer.
So, for how long would it take to do the 1.5 kilometers?
Well.
Gus, you wanna?
Good
now that
question.
you're an expert DPD diver.
No, but I am going to answer the fact that we're using one of these. So we're gonna be on a DPV or diver propulsion vehicle pretty much the whole dive, right, Mitty?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are, if you're swimming, it will take a long time, but not with this thing.
So we did that dive with Woody a few weeks ago, being on full speed on the DPV for pretty much the whole time. It took us like what, 45
Barely.
minutes to get there?
Yes,
About
all the way.
45 minutes to get to
And
the
a
end of line.
solid 7 to 8
Yeah,
speed.
but
We
like
didn't let
on
go.
the trigger the whole time, just zooming passing. So it can be to the end of line pretty fast.
45 minutes on a DPV, swimming it, how long do you think that would take?
That's
A while.
long time. I'm not
Hours
even sure
and
I would do
hours,
that.
You'd have to bring snackies with you.
Yeah.
For weight for the DPV, it's not so much about the out of water weight. When you get in the water, it gets neutral.
It's actually a little floaty, right? A little positive, at least mine is.
Yeah, depending on how you trim it out, it can be positive or negative.
It shouldn't be. I don't know if you've seen mine yesterday.
But like-
when we came back, I clicked it on the line and he was still there, sitting there just. And I pointed to you like, look at that beauty.
Well, to make them
So-
understand that, we add weights inside the DPV, okay? And not only add these weights, but move them either forward or backwards. And then we put it in a tank of water and see if it's floating neutral, where it's like halfway between the surface and the water line. Nope, if it's not, we add either more weight or move them forward a little or backwards a little. And it's like a process to really make sure, because otherwise it can be really tiring when you're DPVing if you're having to put it up all the time or put it down all the time. Or if you clip it off on a line, you don't want it floating up. So it's really important to get that weighting right on the DPV. It's part of the class, you learn to do that. And it, like I said, it makes it much more enjoyable. So that is a really good question.
And
That's the last serious thing I have for the day, because I'm exhausted.
so Luke asked, what specialty should he do for advance? Any suggestions? What are your guys?
I mean, if you're doing PADI advanced open water, you don't have a choice, right? That's just a class. and they-
There is a choice.
You can
There
pick-
is-
There are choices? Okay.
On PADI Advanced Open Water, you're gonna pick the first dive of 5 different specialties.
Do you
I
get to pick them?
personally like perfect buoyancy, deep, rec, navigation, and then something else on the 5th one that you would like. Navigation is very important because in a way you're working on your trim and buoyancy and your nav at the same time. And then your 5th one, make it something that you just want to really enjoy, you know, maybe something fun like search and recovery, because you're learning the patterns, which builds on the nav class. And that's how it works. It's really fun. It's different for SSI, but that's how patterns work.
Someone asked, are you going to give away a rebreather at 100,000?
Nope. But maybe at 1 million, if we ever get to 1 million. That's why I can promise it, because I don't think we'll get to 1 million. So it's easier to say. But if somehow we make it, yeah, we'll
I
probably
would
do
say
that.
at 1 million, yes, we should.
Yeah, at 1 million, we'll probably do a KISS rebreather and with a class, so Woody can certify you.
Then,
All experience.
Well, if it's a Sidewinder, then you can certify you.
Yes.
I'm not gonna.
yes, if you're in freshwater versus saltwater, the weight is different on the scooter.
Yes.
And on the divers.
Yeah.
100%.
Right now, I'm tucking in my O2 as tight as possible. I want everything super tucked in and tight so it's not dangling.
So someone said that they're going down to Mexico as an open water diver and are asking about doing guided dives in a cave as an open water diver.
There are some caves that are appropriate for just open water divers to have like a guided experience. You're not gonna go very far and they're sort of already set up with ropes and lines. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you go with one of the you know,
Cave diving instructor.
cave diving instructor agencies there. And it's pretty cool, actually. I did that when I was there, before I was cave certified.
Where
If they don't
is
feel comfortable, they shouldn't do it.
where is Ed? Ed is around somewhere, working hard.
Talking to some folks. He's actually talking about flying. when I
so-
saw him there.
Is your gear pink woody to attract the octopus?
Oh my God.
Um,
What's with the octopus question?
If they want, I will private message them why pink. I do have a very specific reason, and I posted it before, but I'm happy to give them that answer, because there's a definite reason.
Gus, when are you going to be doing dry caving?
Never.
Never.
Nope.
But you can get to a
When it
sun.
warms up, he and I are going with another guy that's really good. There's
No,
a
we're not.
couple that he'll have to have his face
We're not.
sideways, planted in the mud for a while. and
That's
I'm
not
gonna
true.
film that.
Nope.
Looking forward to it, actually.
Oh, you should try thump diving.
Nope.
Go thump diving
Absolutely.
someday. Woody, what is your favorite fish to talk to?
Oh my.
Why
are you feeding them?
I would say the ones that I talked to relate to those.
He said it's a tough.
I like cephalopod species in general. I relate to them a lot. I also enjoy the sharks. I can talk shark. I teach shark communication in my shark ecology class.
Shark communication? What are you talking about?
I want to take that class.
What?
There's a whole language.
When is it happening?
Oh my God. I'm surrounded by
It's just not right.
rental patients.
So someone asked buddy checks before leaving.
Yeah?
So it's more of you, when you're diving the Sidewinder, you assemble all your gear and check it, and then you also do buddy checks again when you're in the water. Because something could happen between here and the dive site, so you always want to check in the water when it counts.
Yeah.
Can you use any side mount BC
You put
with
it
the
on upside
Sidewinder?
down. You turn the whole unit over. and do it?
Eddie would know more.
Yeah, so some harnesses can be used. Some work better than other. The Hollis Katana K2 has all the loops sewn into it, so you don't need a lot of modification. So that's something to work with with your instructor to determine the best harness for you. But the Hollis Katana K2 is what Woody and Gus and Meddy and I and Ed, everyone down here uses.
Boys, I'm gonna have to take it off.
Is there any current in the cave?
You betcha.
We don't really call that current,
Yeah.
we call that flow.
Club.
There is in most of the cave around here, but all in the world what we're doing today, barely have it. Barely have it. Not noticeable. Nothing compared to what we have in Jackson Blue or what you can find in Genie Spring or Little River, which are famous caves in the area. Are famous for a reason, are beautiful cave and also have a ripping flow.
What chemical is used for scrubbing the CO2?
Good answer.
So
We have it right there.
yeah, we've got a container right here. It's a right now this is a container of Softenel lime. It's just a brand. We've got another one in a blue keg that's Enersorb.
I don't know if you can see, but this is what actually absorbs the CO2. Little granules of chemical that just absorb it. and make it safe for us to breathe again.
So someone asked if y'all are still doing the bubble testing. So are y'all still using the O-dive?
We use it only every once in a while. We don't test every time we go diving. So the answer is not often, because it doesn't continue to give us new information, but it does contribute data back to the, into their database, which is useful for them long term. So that's the right idea.
So how long does it typically take for you to build out the rebreather?
I'd say 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't rush through it.
If everything goes well,
Yeah.
if you don't have, issues while you're building it or testing it, because we will test it in a second after it's built. So,
Does dive equipment have to be expensive? Not necessarily.
But it sounds to be.
We don't make it.
It depends. Like, it doesn't have to be expensive. You can get good gear that's not expensive, and then other gear you kind of pay for the name. So it's kind of like anything else you buy.
Looks much better and much. Oh, thank you.
To reply to that quickly, as a general rule, I tend to not be cheap on my life support equipment personally. I've made the mistake when I was a young diver to buy the cheap stuff, and I came up with, having to buy what you say, like buy cheap, buy twice, and having to buy again for better quality equipment. So yeah, when it comes to what keep me alive underwater, I usually go top of the range, best stuff I can find on the market.
Love that answer. I totally agree. It makes a difference when you
It does.
have really good gear. It's not all the same. Definitely.
So how many emergency tanks do you bring?
Well, it depends on the dive.
Depends on the dive.
But
Yeah.
So on that dive, we will have both. We will all have two. Sorry, I can't even speak English.
Bailout.
We'll have two bailout cylinder. I'm gonna have even larger bailout cylinder just in case one of those guys needs it. And we will have a minimum of 2 aluminum 80 dropped in the cave for safety, and then oxygen. At least 2 cylinders of oxygen, probably 3 today, waiting for us at 20 feet at the mouth of the cave. So if something go wrong, we'll have plenty of gas, and we will be able to do deco on O2, so we don't have to stay down there forever.
so bedding.
There is a neutralize.
Oh, okay. YouTube live. Do a positive and negative test right now. And in simple terms, that means I'm going to test now the loop, that it has integrity and hold. So I'm going to positive means I'm going to fill it up with air, make sure that it's not leaking anywhere. And then I'm going to negative where I take all the air out and make sure it holds that vacuum tight as well. So you do both a positive and negative, because on a rebreather that is absolutely essential that it doesn't leak at all, because a leak means water would come in, and we don't want water ever coming inside the loop of a rebreather. So that's what I'm about to do.
Do you want to video that?
No.
Yeah.
Just let you know what I'm doing.
By the way, I was just gonna mention,
And don't forget to set the back time.
for those of you who are divers, this is how my spool or, whatever safety spool setup is like. I know that some people talk about clipping this thing in one of the holes, but I actually do it this way. This was taught to me by Mike Young. Mike Young does it this way, and it totally makes sense. And if you guys want to learn about it, next time we're with Mike, I'll tell him to show it to us, or show it to you guys. I'm not gonna do it because it's Mike's way. So I'd rather have Mike on the show and teach you how to set up your spool if you want to learn. But that's how you do it. So it's not attached to the hole. It's very free to move around. I remember having it on the hole, and then I go through a restriction or something, and it pops out or it breaks it. So especially the plastic ones, they break. But if you set it up this way,
Yeah.
this thing is free to move, but is always ready to go. So,
If I had it, I'd like to.
Mike Young.
Unplug the battery.
So I'm in the positive mode right now. I'm looking at my computer, I'm looking at the millivolts that are holding steady, the PO2 is holding steady.
Exactly why
I keep it positive for at least 1 minute. The counter lungs are fully inflated. And when I release the pressure, I would expect to hear a puff, watch my loops sort of jump in relief, and watch the pressure drop back down. And I also tend to listen as well. I'll put my ear up and just make sure I don't hear any obvious hissing sounds. And that's kind of the 4 steps that I do.
And someone,
Positive.
and someone asked if you use a gauge for that. It's just by.
I do use a gauge. I use the dive computer. So right here, my dive computer is reading the pressure inside my unit. And when I make it positive, it's a higher amount of pressure, right? Because it's filled up with air. So when I release that, I should see that those numbers go down because it's releasing the pressure. So on the positive, I'm making sure it's just holding steady while it's positive, and in a moment, and right now, actually, I'm going to release it, and I should hear a puff, watch my loop hoses jump, and the pressure should go down. Here it goes. Nice jump, everything released, partial pressure is
My camera goes to my
dropping, as expected. So the positive was good. Now I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to suck everything out of the unit and make it negative, and make sure the counter lungs are holding firm. I'm going to listen again, I'm going to watch the partial pressure again. And this positive and negative is, all the steps are important, but I got to put this up there as among the most important, right? Because it's checking the integrity of the entire functionality of a rebreather. So I'm going to do that right now. Going into the negative mode.
Don't want it leaking water in during the dive. So, someone asked how the dive was yesterday. Y'all
Amazing.
did some amazing stuff yesterday.
Absolutely amazing, tight restrictions, full silt outs at times, just beautiful tunnels and passageways, and on the DPV, not on the DPV, swimming, different routes. Many of those, the cave inside and out, took us to a lot of really technical areas. This is definitely, we're doing cave diving now at a level that I'm proud to say he's confident to take us to some of these places, and they're magnificent. Some are massive, some are tiny. So I loved it. We all said we loved it.
All right, I got it yesterday.
Hard not to love yesterday's both dives.
Made some surprising content in the future.
Yes. Okay, so it's holding negative. While I was doing that, I was watching my counter, watching my computer, holding negative. I'm about to release the negative, and I should see the opposite. Partial pressure should go up. Hear the jump again. Boom. Everything jumped and released, and voila, yes. Partial pressure moved back up. Same with the millivolts. And that is a good positive and negative. Thank God.
So someone asked if
Kind of person.
they're new units or not. So these are their personal units, and it's just something you do every time you build a rebreather and dive it. So yeah, you don't rebreather dive to get in the water quickly.
We don't want any, we want to discover any problems right here, right now, not when we're out in the actual boat or dive or whatever. We can fix things here easier. And for the most part, if you do this, if you really are disciplined about your checks, you're probably, nothing's 100%, you're probably at that point not going to have a failure underwater. You could, but it really, really lowers the risk if you follow these procedures every time and never shortcut that. That's why we're all working hard here. It takes time.
Anything else?
Someone said, Gus, don't stab yourself in the heart on this dive.
I'll try not to. I know that's a common thing, according to a lot of people on YouTube.
one guy we definitely know did it.
We don't.
Wait,
Uh,
line is good.
wait, what? All right, so this guy says, weird question. I know you're not cave explorers, but if NASA came to you, would you, or he already said yes, I haven't even finished. If NASA came to you tomorrow and wanted you to dive off world?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like dive in another planet, will you consider it? Yes, sure.
Yes.
That's not gonna happen.
I mean,
I don't think any of us would say no to that, but
Yes, I'll go explore and
luckily,
So-
I mean, unfortunately.
Titan
that's
sounds
never
cool.
gonna happen to me.
Jupiter, the moon in Jupiter.
So someone
Oh,
asked,
check it out. Here's what it is. This is the strap. I used it there. I forgot. I'm such an idiot.
so
Funny?
someone asked if you do
So
cave
funny.
mapping.
I was like, where's
We
my
don't do
strap?
cave mapping,
Yeah,
no.
Oh, yeah, I
cave
used
surveying
it
and
to hold
mapping
my-
is something very different than cave diving.
Yeah, we go in known caves.
all right.
Is Gus all right? Seems like his back is acting up. Yeah, so you spend a lot of time bent over, setting this up. You have to take breaks once in a
You
while.
need a back brace.
Aaron's beautifully ready to go.
Back massage would be nice.
Amazing dive.
What's one word of advice for an upcoming CCR diver? I think for me, the best advice I give new CCR divers is don't get frustrated when you start learning how to CCR dive, because a lot of people, I got it, a lot of people that are going into CCRs are already very experienced divers. Some of them are instructors even in open circuit. And then when you go to CCR, it's a complete different animal. You go back to zero. It's like learning to dive again. So people get really frustrated. Like I remember thinking on my first class, like I just wasted all my money. I'm never gonna get this, because you're literally all over the place. You don't know what you're doing. You go back to zero. And it's a very humbling experience. So try not to get frustrated. I know it's hard to just not get frustrated, but just know that after you are a few dives in with a rebreather, you'll be much better. So just get through it and it'll get better over time.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah, and
That is
I'd say the
really
same thing. Like I had a moment too of, you're training, you've got all this stuff going on. It's like I'm done with it. I don't want it.
Right.
But just stick through it and you'll be fine.
Not only will you be fine, you won't want to dive any other
Yeah.
way. I call it a bell curve when I'm teaching. You're coming up, you're coming up. Why did I do this? This is not fun. The diving is not fun. The assembly is not fun. And then you're like, I don't want to dive any other way. I don't want it. It's the best ever. So you got to get through the process. Everybody goes through the process. It's hard at the beginning.
So how many times do you check the units before diving? So anytime you break the unit down, when you put it back together, you fully put it back together, check
And
everything.
even if we're doing another dive the same day without really touching the unit, we still do checks before we go diving. We do a few checks, right? We check,
A, B, C, D, air.
Right, we check our air.
Computers, digital, and,
Yep.
yeah.
We check our, the fact that our cells, our sensors can go up to 1.6.
Low PO2, high PO2.
Low PO2, high PO2. So we do some checks on consecutive dive, repetitive dives, but every time we disassemble a unit, we do all the checks, every time.
Someone asked if they will see the dive. You gonna try to get some content?
I am planning on bringing the camera. However, I heard this cave, because of the low flow, sometimes there's not good visibility. So if the visibility is horrible, perhaps the content won't be as useful. So we might not get content, but I'm planning on recording. In many as well. By the way, I haven't kept up with everyone. If you're doing super chats and stuff like that, thank you for doing that. We appreciate it. All that really helps us go out and do stuff like this and record content for the channel. So if you have done a super chat. I just want to thank you. I just haven't been able to keep my eye on the screen. And for those of you who are members, thank you so much. And if you're not a member, consider becoming a member, because we do have some content that is exclusive for members. You can only see it if you are a member. We have a really, really cool cenotes tour from Mike Young in Cozumel. He went to, I think, 8 cenotes and gave the story and stories from him diving there, accidents, things like that. Really, really cool stuff. So consider becoming a member. All you have to do is click on the join button. So there's a join button below here. Click join. I think memberships start at $3 a month. And it's, again, just to support us so we can go out and do stuff like this.
Someone asked how old you were when you started diving.
30, let me see, it was in 2018, so 35. 35.
How cool is it to dive rebreathers, not have any underwater sounds or bubbles?
Extremely cool.
I think every CCR diver would agree that it's different and a lot better than open circuit. Because like when you switch and if you're with someone open circuit, all you hear is the person you're diving with. Yeah.
Like, what the hell? And what rebreather is super quiet. Actually, the way we, yeah, thank you so much for your super chat, Levy. Or Levi, Levy, I guess it's Levy. The way we actually know that somebody had an issue is because we actually hear bubbles. Like we'll be diving as a team. Like yesterday there were 5 of us. If I hear a bunch of bubbles, I immediately know like what's going on, and we're all turning around to see what the problem is. So being super silent in those caves or anywhere really helps when it comes to, you know, finding problems as well. Let's see if Ed is around so you can answer some questions. I think he will.
Can you smell underwater?
He left?
No, your nose is definitely in a mask, so you can't smell underwater.
Yep.
Sometimes you can taste. Sometimes the water
Really?
has a taste to it.
Stop drinking water. Alright, positive and let's do this.
So Gus is now doing his positive and negative test. Yes, we are in Ed's classroom / gym.
My cells is so low, I don't know why.
How far are y'all away from the dive site? So y'all are taking the boat today.
We are. And from here would be like a 5 to 10 minute boat ride just across the property over there.
Yeah. So at Ed's, Ed has pontoon boats, and you can load up all your gear on the pontoon boats and take them out. And there's several caves throughout the mill pond that you can just jump off the boat and dive.
Yep. That's why.
So, what is your favorite cave to come back to repeatedly and dive?
I think you can answer that too. I mean, there's some of these cave systems that are so massive, like Jackson Blue where we dove yesterday. I mean, I don't know how many dives I've done there, like probably like 10 or something. It's not like I've done hundreds, but yesterday Medi took us in 2 loops at Jackson Blue that I've never been into before. And because they're so big, like Jackson Blue, you can go as far as 16,000 feet, whatever that is in kilometers and whatnot.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's miles and miles you can go. So you can dive at Jackson Blue 100 times and not do the same dive twice. It's just so big. It's like a spider web. It goes in all kinds of directions, and there's always fun stuff to do. But there's many systems like that. Ginny in Cave Country is like that as well, and I'm sure there's others. But yeah, Jackson Blue is pretty cool to come back to. It's always something interesting to see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. I really like Madison. In Live Oak, it's very neat little cave. Very nice. And where we're going today, Hole in the Wall, one of my favorites, probably my favorite on the Mill Pond, for several reasons. The cave keep on changing. The further you go, the cave gets different. You got some dark water tunnel, and all of a sudden you got where the fresh water is coming up, so you got proper views, everything is crystal clear, there is tight spot, wide, very big room where you could probably like fly a plane through it easily. So yeah, so that's probably my two favorites in the area.
And I kind of like what Gus said, it's so many caves, so many passages that you can't see them all. I mean, over a lifetime, you couldn't see everything in every cave. And so a few caves have special places in my heart, like Little River in Live Oak area, also JB here. But yeah, there's always something new. I mean, I keep diving JB every time I come here, and every time I see something new. And you know, I can do a 5-hour dive and never see the same section of cave again.
I'm about to put on my dry suit, so now I'm changing. This is typically a part that
Nobody wants to see
people
this.
love.
For sure.
We got a minute, still need to finish all my positive negative, I need to fix my reg, we need to load the
Take
boat.
it
I'm
easy.
just saying, you
We'll
know.
answer more questions.
Yeah, and I'd like to have a look at the map so you have an idea where we're going and
We
talk
might-
about gas.
We might bring, I don't know if people want to see that, but we might just bring the phone and show people the map and everything.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if they want to see it, but you know,
I think they
I don't know.
They can always
probably
tune
don't wanna
out.
see
Yeah,
it.
that's
they
interesting.
can always tune out, I guess.
Do that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Any new questions coming in?
How do I find the right instructor? I'm super scared of meeting the wrong one. It all depends on what are you looking to train on. If you're talking about just open water diving, I mean, just look for a local dive shop and look at Google reviews and stuff like that. If they have, you know, really good reviews and they have been doing it for a long time, chances are that instructors are good. So that's the best way to do it, really.
This is a undergarment layer I'm gonna wear under my dry suit along with this and a thick shirt. So I wear a lot of layers under the dry suit.
How long does a typical dive last? It all depends on the dive. Yesterday, the first one was about 2.5 hours, and the second one was over an hour because, you know, we were kind of doing one dive really quick. We had a mission, and it was pretty close to the entrance, so we didn't have to go super far. I mean, for Lauderdale, I want to learn how to dive. I'm 31. There's, I mean, no shortage of dive shops in Fort Lauderdale. We really like Force E, although we've never taken a class with them.
Jimmy's
But
great. If you can
yeah.
go there, a guy named
Jimmy Gadomski.
Gadomski.
Yeah.
Can't say it. He's great.
Let's see. What else? How was the jousting? You have to wait and tune into that. But it was fun doing it. I'll tell you that much.
Man, the footage is gonna be awesome.
Hopefully the footage turned out well. We haven't seen it. Have you ever been accidentally or otherwise attacked by sea creatures? No, just Woody. What
that's
undergarment?
awesome. He just acknowledged. Finally, everybody, mark that spot on the video. Gus finally acknowledged what I am. Thank you.
Somebody just asked, ¿van a grabar dentro de la cueva? You want to answer that
Sí,
one?
muy bueno. El poquito en la casino, mi carne es
Just
bueno.
Stop. Sí, vamos a grabar en la cueva, pero no sabemos si el video va a salir bien porque la cueva esa no tiene mucho flujo, entonces
¿Por qué?
la visibilidad a veces está muy mal. Pero sí, vamos a llevar cámara y vamos a grabar hoy.
¿Qué? ¿Por qué?
Just you don't have to say anything. Am I special? I can't find the option to join members. Yeah, I mean, like I said, just within the channel, there's a join button. And right below, if not, just click on the channel. And there's a tab called memberships, I think.
We're going to be on our DVDs for a very long time. I get excited once in a while just thinking about it.
What undergarments do you use? Wait, people are asking.
This undergarment is made by Bear. It's called mid-layer. I also use the Bear Exo Wear. So I'm wearing first Bear Exo Wear, Then I'm wearing a mid-layer level called by Bear as well. And I also dive a Bear dry suit. So I just got it across the board from Bear. I love the Bear
Yes, I did.
cave cut dry suit. It was custom made for me. And it is a cave cut, so it fits, snug and tight. It's not really baggy, and it has some rugged areas on it to protect yourself from, tight restrictions and stuff
Check
like
it out.
that.
I noticed it yesterday too. Two of them are reporting like, I don't know, 1.2, and one of them is like something weird. See, like 14, 13.
So they're checking Gus's PO2 and
That's
millivolts.
Oh yeah, 4.5
Yeah,
millivolt,
that's-
man, even now it's 7.7.
So he's checking that one sensor may be needing
low.
replacement.
Like the.
We checked, we have 3 cells inside the
Not this
loop.
weekend.
So we're checking our PO2 with 3 independent cells, independently checking the readings. We want to make sure all 3 are linear, are consistent, are about the same at all levels. And that's what they're discussing right now. One of his cells seems to be off a little. So he would replace it. We would not risk it, even if 2 are good and 1's not. All 3 must be good. That's what's going on right now.
That's why you do the linearity, because you see what is really.
And that's what they're saying. That's why we have a linearity check.
And then when if you hit 1.6, you could technically still use it.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest problem. If it's
You don't want it
it's not gonna hit.
Current
1.6.
limit.
Yeah, these two for sure passed 1.6. So I was at like 24 feet. This one got to like 1.58 or something like that. It was pretty close.
And that's pretty close.
That's
Let me see. What's going on?
Voltage on that
Four.
third.
No, that's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys spare some?
Was it like that
I have some.
yesterday?
Yeah,
That one?
yeah. But I mean, it's.
I mean, I
So,
definitely would replace it.
Where are you at in your check right now? Okay, so we could
I'm
take
done
those
pretty
values.
much with everything except the.
Let me grab my phone, I've got a spreadsheet where we can
You
do
wanna take
that.
a,
I'll put
Oh,
it
this
in the phone, Barry.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I explained it, so don't re-explain
I'll
what's
go get
going on
I
there.
don't have to. I'm sure you nailed
I
it.
know you like to repeat, but there's no need, they got it.
I know you like to repeat. You have an attitude today. I can tell.
he's excited.
He may discuss it. Which is better for hole penetration, Sidewinder or Classic? Sidewinder. Do recreational divers have to keep a logbook? Yes, you should absolutely keep a logbook. Many agencies now give you rewards and allow you to move up to their next level through logging. Also, other divers and boats and dive shops want to see your latest dive and your level of experience to determine what dives they may or may not want you to do with them. So you should. Creepiest would be seeing Gus under you in a tight cave. We do it all the time. Woody, El Caparosa para introduce a la ele. Went by too fast. There was something in Spanish, so I don't know what. I need Gus to look at that.
Well.
Ed
Oh.
has arrived.
Well, folks,
Somebody can
whatever information I may have been able to pass on, it's about to be 10 times more and better. Because that's who we learn from. Now there's Ed. See, watching us get ready. We're here at Cave Adventures and ask away.
Okay. Are you gonna change it?
What's on the plan today?
Listen, we don't have to.
No,
One big dive, just one final dive for the day. I loved it last time I did it, so I want Gus to see it. Lots of
We have to
DPV,
open it and get it in, right?
staging a tank back there, so it's one big dive.
Excellent.
Let's see. Everybody's saying, Ed, what's up? Ed, hello. Ed, do a video on the Ben McDaniel case. I think he has.
Hey, that's a good one. We haven't done that one.
Okay, we haven't done that one,
We
so
will.
that's coming.
But
Good suggestion.
let's.
Ed, the man, the myth, the legend, yes.
We're gonna hear this.
There's, you guys, we agree. And, yeah,
So it was sensor number 3. See, it was.
yep.
Voltage is like.
So he's looking at, Ed's checking out Gus's unit and checking out the millivolt issue I was telling you about. The fact that they're not linear, one of the sensors seems to be off. So that's what's going on, and we don't risk those things. We make sure it's right every time.
Just open to the air.
No, no,
Well,
no,
it's not brand new.
but the city had one.
It's new-ish. It's when we took the class, which was
Yep,
September.
so I'll let you listen
It's
and
been a
watch
few
what's going
months.
on right here.
But yeah,
You're seeing
So
a,
what did I
a
get
check
from
or
you?
a fixing
it
in
was a little
progress.
low, but it wasn't like that. I think it's just dying. It's getting worse
Yeah, I
and worse.
definitely
only from
replaced that one. Did
September?
you not take this apart last night?
Yeah, we took it apart last night.
And what was it doing at the end of the dive?
At the end of the day, this one was a little bit lower. These two were on point. So like, for example, this will be like 1.25 and this one will be like 0.21, something like that. It was like a little bit lower. So I started seeing dip and dip and dip, and now it's just like half. It's just getting worse and worse.
And how come you didn't notice this when you were doing your checklist? That's why we do that before we put it together.
Yeah.
So if we have to do that, we don't have to tear everything apart.
Good point. Thank you.
Follow your checklist, just like training. That's why we do that stuff.
Every
Yeah,
time,
yeah, before you put the head on.
every single time. I'm even going through a check on my dry suit right now. I check
And
all the
people ask me all the time, why do you do those millivolts before you even built the thing? And that's why. So
Well,
that
we don't have
if
to
it, one
take it
needs to be replaced, we know it now, and we don't have to build everything and tear it all apart.
Exactly, because once he tears it all apart, like Ed is saying, you basically gotta do everything again, the positives, the negatives, all that stuff we talked about. You don't know if the integrity is good anymore, so now, he's really gotta do all that over again, because he's breaking down the unit, so basically, it's kinda like a start over, right? Positive, we don't know, he's gotta rebuild it, negative and all of that, so that's why you wanna, the checklist that Ed built is in a specific order, and it's a logical order, so it enables you to catch certain things at the right time. And, you know, even the order that he built his checklist is, there's whys behind that order. It's a very logical. I use that one, I've talked about that one on video, I've basically just adopted Ed's checklist across the board, really. Especially his linearity check worksheets, I love those, so. It's not just a random order checklist, it's very specific as to the order we build it and the reasons why. This is why he built it that way.
All right, any questions for Ed?
Anybody else before I take off? Something popping up.
Let me see. How long has Ed been diving? A long time.
Not that long, less than 40 years.
Okay, that's pretty long.
Still
Ask him.
learning. I just remember,
Yeah, it's just.
after I completed my basic open water class, first thing I thought was, how can I be better tomorrow? And now, roughly 12,000 cave divers later, what I ask myself is, how can I be better tomorrow?
Love that. And I'm really trying to live by that philosophy, and that's why I love Cave Adventures. I mean, I really love that. Let's see. A closest call for Ed. Well, I'm gonna let him finish up with what he's doing with Gus. Let's give him a second here. There, he's looking over something on Gus's unit. So,
A kiss.
man,
So it's an AI.
yes, I can share his checklist. I have before. If you find my Sidewinder Assembly video, which is in our database, that I have each step of Ed's checklist, and I talk about the whys behind it as I'm actually building the Sidewinder. So go, you can find that on our, in our library. I mean, you can listen, because they're
Months ago,
talking
because
about stuff.
Kiss was out of them, so they just sent it to us. And I bought 3 just in case this happened or I flooded it or whatever. I can always take them all.
You know, a lot of books and instructors would say anything that low, throw it out. But I would just say, I mean, it's still dropping, that's the problem.
I was gonna say, it might be the contact.
I hope it's not something else besides the sensor. That's all.
I have another head. I can use the other head with 3 sensors on it, but that's
I don't know, it doesn't look that rusty. Yeah, move that one over.
Take that one, move that one there,
Yeah.
and we probably should have checked, well, put that one back in here and see what the millivolts read first. because, hold it, pull that out. You're reading millivolts and you don't have a sensor.
Yeah.
So that's telling you that you've got corrosion in there.
But, yeah, so you don't have any deoxit or something to spray it?
I trust it.
Let me go get some. I've got it. I just got a contact or electronics cleaner, but
Well, great. The whole thing
Well,
falling
this is why
apart.
we check things.
No, it's probably, Gus, when you spray that stuff on it, it's probably gonna clear it right up. Yep, so they're narrowing down a problem. It may have been that Gus's sensor is okay, but it may have some corrosion on the leads, so there's stuff you can spray on it to clean it off. But the main point that I'm trying to illustrate is they're not just letting that issue go, like, you'll be okay. That's a no-go.
Cool, I have a
We don't
repeater
do
works
that.
with no sensors. How about that?
Well,
That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's how you can get into the scenario that two cells read right, even though they're not right. Because the corrosion line has it all weirded out. And then you only have one good cell, but you don't necessarily know that.
Yeah, this is the head that flooded during my DPV training. My whole rebreather flooded, so I wonder if that
Could have, yeah,
caused the problem.
makes sense. I mean, that could have.
Oh well, let's see if people have more questions.
I do, I've been reading them.
Any questions, guys, so far? I know we've been almost an hour, wow.
I've been answering a bunch, they have been asking lots.
Did you go diving for gold yet? We did. Yeah,
Got
the video's on the the You guys should check it out.
Yeah, got some nice nuggets.
Well,
I dropped and nuggeted it away.
let's see. Sorry, guys. Can one dive with a lung condition like asthma or whatever? Just go to your doctor. If your doctor can sign you off, you're good. Woody, are you wearing the pink cap for underwater visibility? No, he's not wearing that on the water.
It's just freezing.
You wear
here
a hood?
right now, and I'm just pre-warming my bald head.
Is there any tiny insignificant problem whatsoever that you would allow to go, like, all right, so if you have a problem with your CCR, would you go diving anyway, if it's a small problem? Now, one of the rules of CCR diving
No.
is never start the dive with a known issue. So if an issue develops on the water, that's fine, but if he has an issue, you don't go
Go or
diving.
no go, and there is no in between.
So open water training a prerequisite for CCR diving, absolutely. What is that? You go to Patty's store, they say SSI is outdated or now it's not existing. It doesn't matter, guys. The agency is irrelevant. It's all about the instructor. So pick the right instructor. Don't worry about the agency. They're all under the same organization, the WRSTC World. What is it? World.
RSTC is really the one that dictates.
Yeah. Recreational
United States
Scuba
is
Diving
the
Training
United
Council,
States
something
is
like that.
procedures. It can be different procedures in different parts of the world. We're RSTC.
Yeah. Could you make a video explaining the diving courses?
And spraying his Gus's connectors. Maybe see if the corrosion can be removed. Right. See if that fixes it.
How much for training with you too? I think. I mean, we don't.
Maybe it needs to be.
We
turned
teach
off.
for a shop, so whatever the price is, and the price changes depending on the specialty and the class.
Yeah. But just for kicks, if you turned it off and back on.
Can we buy Mac teeth? Yes, they actually sell them on eBay. Ours are not for sale.
it's not there.
We give them away or we keep them. We don't sell them. What's your favorite cave you've dived in? My favorite cave was yesterday, I think, Twin Caves.
That helps.
That
a couple.
required me to bring all my skills.
Yes.
Almost, we still got one that's screwed up.
Oh, there's no sensor in any of them.
Nope.
Well, two of them are reading.
Maybe it's
Can you ask Woody to put his dry suit on while not removing his binny?
Slowly.
Probably not. Yukon, good morning. Thank you. Woody, asking if you're gonna see the aliens on the water. No, stop feeding him. How did Ed get into rescue diving? He
Would
walked
you like
out.
to see an alien move?
That's
That's how I put my hood on, and
Wow.
I do use sound effects every time.
at what altitude does nitrox combination with theoretical depth effect cancel? Oh man, that's too complicated for this early in the morning.
That requires math. Can't do math in the morning.
Altitude diving and nitrox,
Thank God there's computers for that.
Yeah.
It's so complicated.
How many meg teeth do you find, Gus? I've only been there once and I found 21, I think. 21 or 23, something like that. How many times do you tell Woody that's not a thing? I mean, hundreds a day. It's
And usually
nonstop nonsense.
And usually the problem is I don't get to talk because here's what I hear.
That's
And that's Gus explaining and talking.
All right.
And that, can I get a word? And
Somebody-
can I say something? And could I talk? Nope.
somebody has to be factual.
That's the truth.
All right, I think that's it.
Benjamin, can you
Questions?
zip this? I don't like to zip my own dry suit. A lot of dry suit classes will teach you don't. I know some people think I gotta do everything myself. I don't like to. I don't wanna take any chance. And
What's
that
your
last
next
part-
big planned dive? We cannot disclose.
That last part is the most critical. You wanna hear the bam.
Yeah.
That last little part of the zipper, if you leave that open, man, you are gonna flood.
And you are driving.
Well, I always double check it too, even after they zip it. But he zipped it perfectly.
When is the Dive Talk branding going in the dive room there? So they want Dive Talk in here. They actually have some stickers on the shop.
Yeah, we wouldn't.
And if you live near Mariana, Florida, come get a sticker. We're leaving some here at the shop and they're free.
Squeezing out my ear.
What do fish tell you? Nothing. Fish don't say anything.
Get all the air out of my dry suit. I do that every time.
And if you come to the shop, not only you can get a sticker, but you can meet Ed and Maddie and everyone here.
Fish talk, Gus, Woody. Yes, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah,
did do that.
somebody has brought this up again. The Blind Frog Ranch. Apparently, they do some cave diving and they're super inexperienced. We might have to check that
I
out.
wasn't having a seizure, so what I was doing, I wasn't joking. I'm squeezing out. I like to squeeze out the air from my dry suit. When you first put it on, I don't want a bunch of excess air in there.
Somebody says, when do you get Dive Talk wetsuits? That would be cool. I live in Dubai. Gus, bring me some stickers when you come. I want to go to Dubai. That pool looks pretty cool, but it's not easy to get to Dubai or cheap. Are we gonna do something with Sam the Adventure Man? I don't know. I haven't talked to Sam in a while. We reacted to one of his videos, and then we haven't talked to him since. He's not mad or anything. He's happy we did it, but we just haven't planned anything. Man, also with this,
It
all these
is something
questions.
to do with, when you moved it around, okay, now there, two of them are zero.
All right.
It's so strange. Well, I haven't really seen this happen before. Not with that.
Patrick, Thursday about my Sidewinder training. Thank you, Woody, for the help. Great. We got somebody wanting to come take Sidewinder training. Ed?
All right.
Cool. Awesome. Who won the DPV jousting? You'll see that on a future video. Do you use P-valves? We don't. Me and Woody don't have one.
Yeah, as soon as I plug it into the board.
You guys diving today? Yes, we are, if we can fix my Ruby.
Well, let's hold up till we get this dried off.
What's your favorite open water dive spot? I mean, that's a hard question. I think overall Cozumel is a great place to dive. It's cheap to get to and dives are great. Still planning a collaboration with Mr. Ballin? Yes, we are.
Okay.
Did I talk to Donald Cerrone? Not yet. How do you meet Woody? He was my rescue instructor. Have we tried the Kiss Classic? No, I have not.
All right, let's try plugging them in now.
Do you do scented scrubber? No, we don't.
Scented scrubber?
Probably not. I'm not gonna smell it either.
Coffee flavored for morning dives.
Exactly, coffee flavor, yeah.
No, it's no.
What would happen now if Ed gets a call? Ed, what do you think?
Yeah,
They're asking, what would happen now if you get a call?
Right now,
Yeah,
to go do a body recovery or rescue.
yeah.
All my gear is ready to go, and I would probably be, depending on where it was at, probably be loaded up in less than 20 minutes and off to wherever we needed to go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Still
Yes, you do have to be an open water diver before getting into rebreathers.
I mean, unless we take the board out completely.
How do you get your scrubbers pink and orange? It's an option with KISS. When you order your rebreather, you can pick to add a color, and when you pick a color, no one else can pick that color. So they actually retire, which is pretty cool.
Imagine that, a 3 cubic foot already out of gas.
All right, did it?
Try it
Ed,
now.
did you ever meet Chuck Exley thereafter?
No, he passed away right before I moved to Florida to go cave diving full time.
Hey, Gus,
Unfortunately,
are you done with the van?
No, there's some stuff in there. Why do have to move it?
No.
Okay.
Just checking.
No, it's still. 1 and 2 are still. Before I even put the cells in, 1 and 2 still gone.
Would we go with Ed if he had to go in an emergency? Ed does all those recoveries by himself, so outside of providing surface support, I'm not really sure what else we would do.
Board out.
But sure, yes,
yeah, he's gonna either need to get a different board.
we would help however we can.
1 unit today. And I take the board out.
Hundreds,
try
I don't know.
One of the
How many
units,
pink pieces of clothing does he own? Many.
make sure that he's got good normals.
Oh man, weirdest thing to happen during a dive for you, Ed? What's the weirdest thing?
I never really pay attention, just like when Stratus asked me to do a close call.
Yeah.
And I gave him a story of one of the rescues, and he said, no, it has to be a close call that happened to you. And I said, how many close calls? And he said, nothing. And then when I told him the story, he's like, what about that? I go, well, that's just another day at the office.
Yeah, that's just diving.
So, weirdest thing.
Nothing yet?
Weirdest thing, I went on what was just gonna be a simple dive, and all of a sudden I noticed a hole, and
Okay.
come to find out, we ended up discovering thousands and thousands and thousands of feet of cave, but that's not really weird, it's just one of those things that we always hope happens, but doesn't always do
Yeah,
that.
let's just do that.
As far as failures, that there again, if you're properly trained, all of them should be just, oh, well, shoot, that's what happened, now this is what we're gonna do. So, I don't know, can't really think of anything weird that happened. You know, the usual stuff, get out to the site, have a failure of some kind, but you have so much redundancy that that's generally not a problem.
Yeah, 'cause even
But
this
good
one,
question,
if-
I'll keep thinking on that. When we do the Ben McDaniels thing, I'll think about weird things that happen.
With number 1, getting voltage from nowhere.
Oh, you got another head?
Yeah.
So either that or you're just gonna have to run one sensor, see how they,
I mean, you touch two cables together and voltage starts showing up. Like, that's
Even
not
with the board
normal.
out, number 1 is still
showing voltage.
No board.
Yeah, like if you wiggle it the right way, kind of thing. Like it was.
Yeah,
Of
so I
course,
might
now
have
it's
to
not
send
going
it
to do
Mike.
it since I'm telling you.
No, you showed me. You touched like one of those springs, and boom, it showed like 2.4 volts. Like what?
Well, let's plug them in and see what we got.
I don't know. Maybe it just needed to dry out a little more.
Let's see. Sounds like an electrical failure. Yeah, something is up.
See me that.
This is what the head looks like, by the way. Check that out. See those electronics inside? Those are 3 sensors. KISS rebreather. Ask Ed to write a book on his rescues. How many people have asked you to write a book?
A lot. And problem is I don't write, so I've actually thought about just hiring a ghostwriter, and because every time we do talks, you know, lectures, places.
People love it.
Yeah, when I started talking about at the, at DEMA a couple years ago, right after the Dominican Republic thing and the rescue up in Tennessee, we were talking about how rebreathers aid in these things, but all they wanted to hear about was the actual incident. So,
Exactly. Yeah, rebreathers. But tell me more about the other
so yeah,
stuff.
well, hopefully I'll probably think about doing that next year. I've been looking for a Ghost Rider actually, and I've got one guy that might be ready to
Good
do
fit.
it. So
That's awesome.
good question. Thank you.
Somebody asked if we have a P.O. box. We do, and the address is on our YouTube channel. If you go to the About tab, you got it? The About tab, there's the address if you guys want to send us something. There's somebody sending us like once or twice a month postal cards from wherever they leave or wherever they visit, and that's pretty cool. They always have like encouraging stuff on them. We appreciate that. I've been saving them all.
Good. Stay tuned. They have good stuff. I gotta go, everybody. Thanks, and hopefully we'll get the Ben McDaniels thing scheduled real soon. Gus,
a lot.
like always, good seeing you, my friend. You guys have a great dive.
Thank you.
Ben, if you have any questions, call myself.
Yeah. Have fun.
All right.
All right. Let's see. People said I'm from the caves and Woody's from the ocean. I don't know. Woody is interesting, that's for sure. Let's see. I saw a question with my name on it. If you were going to replace that part you're holding, how much would it be? Like the whole head? I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I don't know. If I had to guess, it would be like $1,000. I don't know.
Yeah.
$500, $5,000. I don't know.
If you need
But-
it, you need it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna stop diving. So, but because the head is reporting voltage, even though it's not connected to anything.
So, like,
Imagine if you take like a voltmeter and measure a cable that is just laying on the ground, not plugged to anything, and you're getting volts from it. That's a problem. So I'm gonna actually send it back to KISS, and they'll figure out what the problem is, or they'll give me a new one. They have the best customer service, so I would highly doubt it's gonna cost me anything other than shipping. But if it does, I'm happy to pay them. They are worth every penny. So
No.
how can we dive with you guys? Funny you ask. We dive. I mean, if you're a cave diver, obviously a lot more opportunity to come along, especially if you dive a Sidewinder or a rebreather, because we go on these massive dives that an open circuit wouldn't work. If you're just an open circuit diver, we are actually doing a meetup at the end of April 28th through May 2nd. We have everyone coming. There's people that are brand new divers actually coming. We're going to dive with everybody. A few rooms just open up. So if you're interested, I will be sending out a message to our subscribers and stuff, so they can grab them. I think I have about 10 spots available right now, and the only reason why the rooms are available is because we got a bigger boat. So we sold out one hotel, and now we're selling out the hotel next door. So it's gonna be fun. Can you snorkel if you come on the trip? I guess, I don't know, I guess so, but you probably want to dive, because diving in South Florida is awesome. All right, so yeah, if you're interested on the meetup, my advice really is to get on Facebook, if you have Facebook, and look for the Dive Talk group. That's where we post most of the stuff. Somebody said I claimed that if I had a Sidewinder I wouldn't go. I don't know if I claimed that ever, but if I did, I got a Sidewinder because actually of the trip we're doing in a couple weeks. The places where we're going require for me to have a Sidewinder, and they happen to be places worth getting another rebreather and get trained by Ed and going through everything I've been through just so I can go. So we've been eagerly waiting for this day. We're leaving in a couple weeks, and I couldn't be more excited about that. How's it going, man?
Hey, your head's swapped. If you want to repack it, retest it.
All right. See if you can get some questions
Yeah.
and answer them.
But there's a tiny bit of a voltage drop between the two, so But I mean, it's
So I'm gonna
It's-
recalibrate.
Yeah, well, I meant like millable wise, it's still like see,
That looks good.
Yeah,
This one,
Well, and I think that the other cell wasn't necessarily bad with the board, so these
so
cells.
I'm gonna
should-
save them all.
Yeah, so save those cells.
I don't know what happens once you take it out of the package, you know, if they start dying.
You can put them in a Ziploc bag and they'll.
Any stuff's loaded, tanks are loaded.
We have to swap the whole head, we couldn't figure out what the problem is. It's reporting voltage with no board, no sales, no nothing, and still reporting voltage.
Yeah, so there's
So
something.
he's gonna go back to Mike.
You have a head?
Sometimes
Yeah, we
corrosion
just swapped it.
kind of works up the wire.
Oh, this one doesn't have the line, so now I'm like,
No.
What I do, Gus, is lay it down. Oh, there you go. You can
So
do
it's
that.
like the
I'll just
line
lay it down.
is in between.
yeah, right there.
You'll know when you lay it down and then it's on
Yeah,
the same
so-
angle.
We put some little cheat
Go answer some
sheets
questions.
on here. If you can see
It's
the
really
line,
good now, brother.
that way there's a line on here and
Oh,
then there's a line on the
perfect.
can. So that when you place it, you know you've got the
That's
right
scary.
angle on it.
That's why we have two heads. So he brought an extra sensor head. I do as well. A problem like this exists, just get rid of the whole sensor head, bring in a new one. I also carry two on every trip for that purpose. So, looking for questions. Anybody else got any other questions? You've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of the process. Gus's wife's text message is up at the top. So probably won't want to read those. Thank you so much for saying that.
Just asking if we're going down or whatever.
So does Mike Young have an engineering and electronics knowledge? Extremely knowledgeable in engineering and electronics, like incredible.
Okay, calibration.
Let's see what else we have going on with your questions. I'm looking. They go fast, so sometimes. How long have I been diving? 45 years. Thank you. We appreciate that. Dan, you love the channel. Will you dive in Romanian caves? Yes.
Let's do it.
I think we would probably try to get a trip going. We don't know much about them, but
And we want to go with Mehdi to the French caves.
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you want to keep this
Lots of good, who's this? Lots of questions.
Do you have like a Bradley or?
Yes, Gus is still able to dive. He changed the sensor head. We had a whole new head. We both bring two sensor heads. So there's an electronics issue in one. We just take that head, swap it, put a whole new one on, and now all three of his sensors are reading linear across the board. They're reading perfectly now, so he's basically good to go now. So that's why we do that. And he'll send the other head that was having the problem back to KISS. Mike will take a look at it. Well, thank you for the super chat. When is Ed going to dive the Baltic anomalies
Baltic anomalies from another video.
to save them aliens? Maybe this is more of a job for Woody. I would do it with Ed. I wouldn't say it's a job just for me. He and I together could probably be a nice team. Is it warmer today? It is sunny. It started off cold, but at least the sun's out, so it's going to warm up to the
It was
50s.
-1 Celsius this morning. -1. It's freezing.
But it's really nice out. I was just out by the boat loading gear, and it's beautiful out. It really is.
Do you have a plug in?
I just got my open water cert. What certification should I get next? Dive a lot. And the next level up, depending upon your agency, is advanced open water. Each agency is a little bit different on how you would get to that. But a good specialty, I think, is navigation and perfect buoyancy. Could be two new ones you would want to get right after getting open water. Also, enriched air, some call it nitrox, is very good to get. E.T. is a documentary about Woody's childhood. Kind of. Gus, do you want to say stop encouraging Woody? It's so often that it hurts my ears. Yesterday, my left ear was hurting a little, probably because of that.
Let's see. Have you dove any caves in Pennsylvania before? No.
There's caves in Pennsylvania? Wow.
I thought just like the bell, that famous bell is there. You know, Liberty Bell.
What are
But
you
I didn't
talking
know.
about?
You don't know because you're from Venezuela. We have a Liberty Bell.
We're
You didn't-
talking about caves. I'm not talking about independent symbols.
He didn't take that. He didn't have that question on his.
Christ.
He didn't have that question on his. Test probably. Yes, Mehdi is in the house. There he is. He's back. We were just loading
Legend in
the
making.
boat, and things are looking good out there. I was just down by the boat. The mill pond is magnificent today, and we are excited.
All right, Woody, you've got your rebreather down there,
Rebreather,
DPV down there,
DPV,
accessory, mask, fin, lights, and all of that
mass
stuff.
fins,
Yeah.
lights, tanks. Your tanks are loaded. Your
My
your
tanks.
your unit is also loaded.
Okay,
We,
thank
we,
you.
we just did that.
Thank you for that. So we're just missing
Me.
your unit,
All my stuff.
all your stuff. Okay. DPV already down there. So one Gus is done with that. We can have a look. I already got the mat deployed.
Oh, yeah, let's hold it up a second for them, and then we'll.
It's not gonna hold up.
Forget it.
You're gonna have to bring
Yeah, bring it, bring it.
that to them.
So before we go on cave dives, we always do a briefing. And the briefing, of course, would involve looking at the map of the cave we're gonna dive. I didn't know that was just like that. Go ahead and show them that.
Oh, hold on, okay.
You've broken YouTube.
So this is the cave we're gonna dive. Mehdi is going to guide us, so he's gonna do a briefing. I can tell you we're gonna go.
All right, we're back.
I don't know if you heard that. So look, this is the cave map. Mehdi's gonna tell you what we're doing.
So we're gonna go to what we call the Downstream Section. We're gonna get to the entrance here and follow the gold line all the way to the end of that tunnel, which have a maximum penetration of 4,174 feet.
So we will be at the end of that line. And what I like about this, I did it last time, is it's just a long DPV. You get to really just use your DPV for a long time. How long, Mehdi, do you think it'll take us pretty much on the trigger the whole way to get from there to that?
I'll say, so we're gonna stop on the way to check the stage I already have in the cave, so that's gonna add a couple of minutes. We're gonna mark every T, each one of us, so that's gonna add up some time. So as I said last time we did it together, it took us about 45 minutes full on, so we can expect something around 50 minutes to get there.
So when he says check the stage, I just want to be clear, we're gonna check that Mehdi already has a tank.
Yes, I already have a tank in the cave that I left there from our last visit that's supposedly full of air with a working reg, but before we do any further penetration, when we get there, I'm gonna check it.
And that's at about, the distance he's got that one at is at about,
I can't read from here. What is it, 22?
yeah, about 2,200 feet back.
Yep.
So in other words, the gas we're carrying is enough. We've all planned to where that's about the maximum we would want to go with the gas we're carrying. So we want to have extra gas to go further, and that's why it's there.
And this is what we use to mark it, by the way. Mehdi was saying we're gonna mark on the T's because there's two ways to go. So on the way we wanna go, we put one of these. It's just we snap it into the line and it has our name and some reflective tape. So that's called a cave cookie.
Those are the ones we use on the DPV because they are super easy to pull on the line as you fly by. You don't have to deploy your pigtail with all your cookie and put a proper cookie. Those work great on any kind of rope size.
Yeah.
So that's nice little trick. So then when we're gonna get there, I'm gonna congratulate you guys because that'd probably be your deepest
Yeah.
further
And what's
penetration
the
in the
depth
cave.
there? It's shallow.
Yeah, so we have an average of about 80, 90 feet, and it's shallow up as we're coming up. You can see we get like 66, 56, and here 54, 58, and back to 20 feet. So we'll be like just 20 feet away from the surface.
We'll be off gassing. We'll be decoing really all the way there. So by the time we get there, we probably won't have much deco.
Then what I'd like to do is turn around, go back to the second T where the stage is, and take you through some of those tunnels That's a very nice. We're gonna leave the DPV on the line and do some of those jump and swim a little bit through that. Yeah, this is very tiny and very, very, very silty. If you take a DPV in there, like the first one will blow everything away.
Okay.
It's very, very muddy and silty. So
Okay.
yeah, and just have a look through that. Come back up. We're gonna go back all the way to the entrance, and depending on time and comfort level, we might take it upstream and go to the end of the line upstream, which is not that far. It's like 1400.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Both
so-
ends of the line.
So we could do both end of gold line, yeah, because then there is a lot of stuff to jump
Jumpings
from.
and stuff,
But
yeah.
we could do like one hand to the gold line to the other.
I mean, look at all this stuff. It's super far all the way down here. 4,800 on
So
this one. But this has to be so tight.
this
down
is
here.
very tight. So if you guys look online on Ed's YouTube page, there is a video called 8 inches of fun.
Yeah.
This is there. This is at the
Oh,
end.
8 inches,
Yeah,
yeah.
8 inches of fun. That means there is about 8 inches worth of, passage from chest to your back, and Ed is squeezing through that.
That's 20 centimeters. by
Yeah,
the way.
so you're squeezing through 8 inches, 4,000 feet inside a cave, which is a good kilometer inside a cave.
Yeah,
That's
great,
a pretty
great place
impressive
to
video.
break your
Yeah.
stuff.
This is interesting as well. Just show this. So you can see we're entering. You can see where we're entering is just off of the river area, so right around in here. But look at how the cave. We're going to be diving mainly under the land here, right? We're going this way, and then we said we're going to go back this way. So that's the actual what it looks like as laid on top of land. Pretty cool. Yeah. That's the river. That's the mill pond. So we're going to be going mostly.
And so
under there.
both of you guys,
Yeah.
all of that might be quite murky. So maybe 10, 15 feet V's at max. So
Yeah.
on the DPV, we kind of, reference the line.
Yeah.
Make sure you know where it is at all time. There is no worse feeling that, DPVing for a minute and then you're like, oh, where is the line? I
Yeah.
can't see it. It kind of gets your heart racing
go
a little
left.
bit, yeah?
I'll go thirds because he hasn't seen this yet. So you're
Here,
you're gonna
what I
be
want to
in-
do that
like-
jump is because that's where the fresh water is coming. So I can guarantee like 95% that this is going to be crystal clear, like what we had in JB and Twin the previous days.
Awesome.
So it's still nice. On the way out, it's probably going to be very silty. There is a few restrictions, like the $silver restriction here, where we're going to have to silt again, pushing the DPV through. So we're going to take it easy on the way out.
Okay.
We can like blast in full speed on the way in and take it easy on
I
the way out.
prefer you just lead both ways because when we can't see in there.
You want me
it's-
to be in front both ways?
It's just comforting
Yeah.
to see you. When I can't see, I was like, Betty, at least I could see you because I don't
Yeah.
want to smash into something.
But being on the DPV and in low V's, I can only account for the diver behind me. So whoever is
Okay.
in the middle will have to make sure
He'll
to
be in the
look after
middle.
the
That way
last
you'll see
diver
more
and
guys.
relay the information.
I'll be in the middle.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds fun.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
That'd be great.
Awesome. All right, so let me take that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on today's live stream. Wow, almost an hour and a
Hi,
half.
everybody. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying
Setting
it.
up everything. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Getting to see us put together this thing. This is gonna be taking me all the way to 4,500 feet, 1.37 kilometers inside a cave. It's gonna be fun. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.